Hi besties, welcome to my channel. My name is Promoted Sandra. So if this is the first time you're coming across this channel, thank you very much for stopping by, and please do not make this your last by clicking the subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming back. I do really appreciate it. I want to say thank you very much for all the likes, your views, your comments, and the subscription you guys are supporting this channel with. This really means a lot to me. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this beautiful dress for my sister. This was a part of her birthday dress. Okay, I'm going to be showing you how I drafted it and how I sew it as well. For those of you that are new to my channel, I have a Facebook page where I post sewing tutorials, how to cut and sew, skincare, beauty, lifestyle, stuff like that. I'll put this on my Facebook page. Do well to click the link at the description section to join my Facebook page. Or I have a Facebook page for tailors. It's known as Akara Africa Style. So if you want to join, click the link at the description section and also at the comment section to join the group. So if you have any style you want to cut or you are finding anything difficult, you can just post it in the group and try as much as possible not just to join for joining sake, also engage with others. So without further ado, we are just going to continue with this video. So pay attention and see how I made this beautiful dress so that you don't miss out of anything. If you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and that is it. Okay. Alright.
So what you are going to be needing to make this is your tape, your scissors, your marker, your pen, and your French curve. Okay, so if you don't have markers, you don't have marker or pen, you can make use of check. So the first thing first we are going to be doing is to mark out like a straight line. If you are doing this on your fabric, please make use of check. Okay, so once I was done doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to minus 6 from the upper part of the dress. The reason why I'm going to be minusing 6 or 6.5 is because it's an off shoulder. So once I was done doing that, the next thing I did was to mark out her bust point, her under bust, and her half length. At the same time, I added my seam allowance. So I'm just going to use my French curve to mark out every single part. Then after that, I will neighbor it. This is going to be my chest line, my bust point, my under bust, my half length, and my sewing allowance, which is my seam allowance. So once I was done doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement. So if your nipple, if you don't know how to take your nipple to nipple measurement, place your tape on your nipple and take it to the other side of your nipple. So if yours is 8, then you divide it by 2, which is going to be giving you 4. So in this case, my sister nipple to nipple measurement is 8, so I divided it by 2, which gave me 4. I just mark out 4. So as you saw me doing, I mark out 4. Then I went to the bust points. I came down by half an inch. So you come down by half an inch. Once you are done doing that, you go to your under bust. I marked 1 inch at the center front and 1 inch at the side front. Okay, just to give me that bust curve at the down. So I also did the same thing for the half length. Okay. So I also did the same thing for the half length. So I'm just going to take my French curve and mark it down. After that, I will use my hands to give it like a curve to remove the sharp edge from this under burst. So as I was done doing that, I went to the chest line, which is the chest line. So at the center front, I marked in half an inch, while at the side fronts I marked in 1 inch. So just watch out what I'm doing in case you don't understand. So half an inch and 1 inch at the side front. So I will still go ahead to mark like 1/4 inch. This is just to make it a little bit balanced, just very small. So once I was done doing that, the next thing I went ahead to do was to take my French curve, then roll it out just like as you see me doing. Then I went ahead to use my hands to give it a nice shape. So the next thing now is to impute my body measurement, which is my bust measurement divide by 4, my under bust measurement divide by 4, and my waist measurement divide by 4. So you divide your measurements by 4 and impute it. So I'll take my ruler and join all the points together. So once I was done doing that, I went ahead to the chest line, measure the that I took there and I added it back. I went to the under bust and to the half length. I added all the that I removed before. Then once I was done doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to add 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So you can add, because it's kind of a little bit stretching, you can add 2 inch as your sewing allowance, but I decided to add 1.5 because you know v-neck is kind of a little bit stretchy. So I'll just go ahead and use my French curve to, you know, join it together. At this point I'm using my pen. So I'm just going to go to the armhole area from the chest line. Okay, so I'm going to impute my armhole measurement. So the armhole measurement I'm working with is 8, so I'm just going to go in by 4 inch from the armhole measurement side, that is the armhole side. As you can see me doing, just watch out what I'm doing. So I will impute, because I did -6.5 from this, I'm just going to take my tip so you guys can see it. I will just place my French curve and mark it out, mark at my armhole. Then after that I will join all the possible points together. So just like this. There I will go into the front. I came down by 1 at the front side, that is the chest area. Just mark it out, okay, give it a nice shape. You can do yours as V. So once I was done doing that, I will cut out everything. Please just watch out what I'm doing so that you know the part you're going to be cutting. So for the chest line, I decided to, you know, leave half for sewing allowance. Though I've already added sewing allowance, I just decided to leave the edge. But at the end of the day, I still ended up cutting it out. Okay, so just watch out how I am cutting this. That is the most important thing. So I went ahead to cut it out. I was just like, okay, once I'm cutting it on the fabric, I will add the sewing allowance, okay, at the top. So that's why I removed it, not to get myself confused or not to get anyone confused. So this is how it looks like. So I'm going to be introducing the front pattern at the back, because I'm going to be cutting out the back right away. So I will just mark out all the points at the back so I can get every single point. Then once I was done doing that, I had marked out everything, and I went in by 1.5 for zip allowance. I will just mark it down. This is the back, so I'm going to be removing 1.5 for zip allowance. Then once I was done doing that, I introduced the front. At this time I covered the doubts at the front, so I just covered it. So once I was done doing that, the next thing was for me to mark out, to rule out this pattern at the back. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to impute my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4. So this is going to be our dart for the back. So at the center back, I will mark in 1/2 inch. At the side back, I will mark in 1/2 inch. There I will take my French curve to join all the points together. So I'm just going to go down and mark, I'm just going to measure the dart I took and add it to the sewing allowance. Then once I was done doing that, I'll use my ruler to, you know, join all the points together. Then at the back, I, you know, gave it a nice shape. At the back I just gave it like a V shape, because I don't want it to be straight, you know, stuff like that. So I just gave it a very nice shape. I went down to the waistline. I marked in 1/2 inch. From the chest line, I just took my French curve and rule it down. The reason why I did this was to remove poking, because I don't know if you once you are done sewing zip on your dress, it will just poked out, you know, stuff like that. So I avoid poking and all that. So that is the reason why I always -1/2 at the zip side. Okay, so just watch out what I'm doing. Just watch at how I am cutting out this, so that you know the part to cut out. Exactly, so this is it. Once I'm done doing that, I'll go ahead and fold in the same allowance, that is the darts at the back. I'm not going to be cutting it out this time. I'll just bend it. Just watch at what I'm doing, bend it together, then use my seal tape to, you know, tape it together. So you're going to be doing that before I cut it on the fabric, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is to remove the darts. Once I'm cutting the back side of this dress, I'm not going to be adding darts, or once I'm done sewing it, I'm not going to be adding darts. So we've already removed the darts. So now to make this dress, we are going to be making use of v-neck, the patches at the front. Then I used lining. You can also use doll face if you want to, then zip, pink, and all that. So this is it. I'm done cutting it at, if you notice, you're going to see that I added half seam allowance at the side front and the center front to join it together. So this is how they look like. I went out to cut at 4 pieces for each of the these pieces. So I joined 2 together for the front, I joined 2 together for the for the lining. Okay, you're going to be seeing it. I joined 2 pieces because I don't want her skin to be really transparent, but if you want your skin to be transparent, you can use 1 or 2. So I did that for the back, the front, everything. I joined 2 pieces each for the front, then 2 pieces each for the back to make it a little bit thicker. This is how it's going to look like once you're done cutting yours. It's going to have this shape. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to take it to my sewing machine and sew it down. I'm going to be joining the front, I'm going to be joining the back, I'm going to be joining all the linings together. So once I was done doing everything, I went ahead to sew gold. As you can see on the dress, I went ahead to sew gold. I used gold doll face to impute my bonnet case. Okay, so it's going to be having gold design at the front. I went ahead to impute the case for the bonnet. So as you can see me doing, there's no light, so I just went ahead to use my hands to, you know, do this. There's no light. You are in Nigeria, no light to iron, so just see, in case you don't have lights, alternatively you can do what I'm doing. So if you can't do this, just go and get boba bias. You can also use boba bias, so you can put as many casing you want to. So I went ahead to add like 7 casing for the bonnet. So once I was done doing that, I'll go ahead to do my gather for the down side of this dress. So if your machine can do gather for you, no problem, but for my machine, the kind of machine I use, you cannot do gather. Okay, so I went ahead to use my hands to do the gather first before I attached it to the upper part of the dress. So I also did the same thing for the back. I added 2 bonnet case. So I've already added the back together, the back to the front. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to shaping it. I imputed all the measurements, and that is all you need. So just impute your client measurements and mark it at. Then once I was done doing that, I started sewing the gather to the down part of the dress, just like the same when you join upper part of the dress to the skirt side. So the next thing I went ahead to do was to gum nylon on my dummy, because this is a net fabric and we're going to be using machine electric gum on this. So to avoid tearing of the v-neck, that is why I went ahead to gum the nylon on the dummy. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to pin my patches on my dress. So as you can see me doing, just watch out what I'm doing. So I'm going to use my pin, my office pin, to, you know, pin it to my dummy. So this is kind of a little bit easier if you don't have that foam dummy. You can just follow up with the same strategy that I used. Just wrap your nylon on your dummy, and this is going to be easy for you to press in your pin. Okay, so just make sure you pin in all the patches you're going to be using. This is to make it very easy for you when it's time for you to gum it with your gum. It will be very easy for you. This is just to get a perfect shape, so if there is any error, you can check it out and correct all the errors before you start gumming it. Then once I was done, I went ahead to plug in my electric gummy machine. I inserted my gum and I started pinning it. Here is my neighbor. She's assisting me to do one or two stuff. She actually loves being a tailor. So for the gummy machine, if you're interested in getting the gummy machine, do what to check the description section, or if you're watching this on Facebook, check the description section as well. So I'm going to be leaving the link to the gummy machine. So if you're interested, you can click the link and place your order. Mind you, I ordered this from AliExpress and it's very cheap. So I'm going to be leaving the link to the candle. It comes in dozen, but you can also buy half dozen, which is 6 if you want. Then just place your order for the machine and place your order for the candle as well. So that is it. Is very easy to do. Just make sure you put your right address. It will be shipped down to your doorstep. Okay, so this is the outcome of the work done. This is the photo. Hope this is really beautiful. And as well, this is the full photo. I also made this for our baby, and I'm also going to be displaying some that I make for our baby. I have a video of it. I'm going to be uploading it, guys, and please really follow up with my Facebook page, because I don't really know if I'm going to be uploading more of these videos here, but I believe I'm going to be leaving it on my Facebook. And as well, please, I'm going to be leaving the link to my Instagram business page, which is SNB Culture. Please do what to follow, like my pics, and follow my personal account at official promoted Sandra. Thank you very much for watching. Love you guys. See you on my next video, and please do what to check out my other videos in case you're interested in seeing more of my sewing and cutting tutorials video. Check it out. But trust me, I believe I'm going to be doing more of this on Facebook. For YouTube, I don't really know, but I just want to put those ones here. But trust me, I think I'm going to be doing more on Facebook.